Okay, so the session is being recorded and I will start sharing. Prof Mo is here. Hello, Prof Mo.
Okay. I just want to send the email.
Okay, hold on. I will need to adjust. Okay. Right. Thank you for joining us today, Prof Mo. Nice to see you here. And Prof Mo, please meet Dr. Ratna. Yep, Dr. Ratna Prof Mo, and also Bu Krishna, the brand ambassador for Indonesia. So I will start sharing my screen. Okay. Yep, and we will start the session now. Okay. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are, from all around the world. We have got actually more than 700 people who registered for this webinar today from over 48 countries. So thank you so much for your time today. And my name is Rosita Nordin. I'm the Regional Marketing Manager for East Asia, Emerald Publishing. And with me today is Prof. Mok and Dr. Ratna, our distinguished speaker for today. And also helping me is my colleague Irwan Sukardi, based in Indonesia, and also the Emerald Brand Ambassador, Ibu Krishna Anggatwita. So before we start, let me just go through a few housekeeping with you all for today. So the platform that we are using is GoToWebinar, and the orange arrow open and closes your control panel. If you can see the control panel on the right hand side. And then all of you attendees microphones are muted, so only panelists and organizers are not muted. We will mute ourselves. Okay, so for you attendees, you can use the questions tab to ask presenter during the presentation. So if you do have any questions, we will encourage you to use the control panel, go to the question session and ask your questions there. And then we will pick up the questions and then we will post it to the panel during the question and answer session. So for your information, this session will be recorded and then it will be shared with you all later by tomorrow. And all of you participants will also receive a certificate of attendance and the recording link later on. So this webinar, obviously, you know, it is on SDGs, so it's Sustainable Development Goals, Project-Based Learning, Reasons, Methodologies, Challenges, and Lessons Learned. So I'll just go through the rough agenda for today before I pass the session to the speakers. So firstly is the welcome and introduction of speakers. I'll be introducing you all to the speakers today. And then we will have Prof. Mok to share his project-based learning sharing. And then we will have Dr. Ratna for her project sharing. And then we will go into a question and answer session. And before we close, we will have a short introduction to ebooks, SDG by Emerald. Okay, so this is just one slide, and it is about the Emerald's 4 goals. So Emerald is passionate about aligning everything that we do with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal. So in particular for this year moving forward, we have 4 big goals that we are focusing on, and each of these 4 goals have got their own goals, UN SDG goals that we go towards. Okay, so we have the first one, fairer society, and then healthier lives, responsible management, and quality education for all. And we have this focus on commissioning work for all these 4 goals. And also for your information, the quality education for all goal, and we have Prof. Mok here. He is the Emerald Advisor for quality education for all goals. So thank you, Prof. Mok, for joining us. So next, right. So I'll be introducing you all to Prof. Mok. So Prof. Mok is the Vice President and concurrently Lam Man San Chair Professor of Comparative Policy of Lingnan University. So before joining Lingnan, he was the Vice President, Research and Development and Chair Professor of Comparative Policy of the Hong Kong Institute of Education and the Associate Dean and Professor of Social Policy, Faculty of Social Sciences at the University of Hong Kong. Prior to this, Prof. Mok was appointed as the founding chair professor in the East Asian Studies and established the Center for East Asian Studies at the University of Bristol, United Kingdom. Prof. Mok has worked creatively across the academic worlds of sociology, political science, and public and social policy, while building up his wide knowledge of China and the region. Prof. Mok completed his undergraduate studies in public and social administration at the City University of Hong Kong and received his master's and PhD in sociology from the Chinese University of Hong Kong and the London School of Economics and Political Science, respectively. In addition, Prof. Mok has published extensively in the field of comparative education policy, comparative development and policy studies, and social development in contemporary China and East Asia. In particular, he has contributed to the field of social change and education policy in a variety of ways, not the least of which has been his leadership and entrepreneurial approach to the organization of the field. His recent published works have focused on comparative social development and social policy responses in the Greater China region and East Asia. He is also the founding editor-in-chief of the Journal of Asian Public Policy, London Routledge, and Asian Education and Development Studies Emerald, as well as a book series editor for Routledge and Springer. Like I mentioned just now, Prof. Mok is also an Emerald Advisor for one of the Emerald's company goals supporting UN SDG, which is the education for all. So ladies and gentlemen, I pass the session now to Prof. Mok to start his presentation. So let me give the sharing to Prof. Mok.
So,
okay, Prof. Mok, if you can see, there's a request to share your screen. Yes.
do you see that?
Yes, we can see it. Yes, Prof. Mok. So can you, can you enlarge it? Yeah, Prof. Mok. So can you enlarge it to become a slideshow?
Okay, let me see in what way I can do so.
Okay. Oh, right.
Okay.
Yep.
Because this is the first time I'm using this platform, so I may experience difficulty. Can you see me and also listen to me clearly?
We can, yes, yes.
Okay, let me start the presentation. And thank you very much for inviting me to share about my recent work in relation to SDG project based learning. And first of all, I think my topic today is refining the ways of knowing and doing. And I would like to reflect upon the research and teaching in the times of COVID-19 pandemic. So guys, I think we are now facing a very difficult time. The whole world is encountering an unprecedented, global health crisis. But during the difficult times, it is a very good test for humanity. And in what way we are colleagues working in the higher education sector, making positive and appropriate responses to help students learn and also to teach well, and also create a conducive environment to keep researching on interesting and meaningful projects which have impact on society. And I come from one of the publicly funded university in Hong Kong. My university is a liberal arts university. It's a Lingnan University in Hong Kong. In terms of our work, I think we put equal emphasis on education and research. As a strong and leading liberal arts university, I think the core business for us is to create the best possible environment for student learning. So we care for learning in terms of our education. And doing education and also care for learning, we cannot do justice for learning and excellent education without doing serious research. But doing research at Lingnan, our overarching value is doing research with impact, and the impact will care to society at large. In order to achieve research with impact and caring for society and also care for student learning, my university has supported UN Sustainable Development Goals. So all of our research and study programs are decided along the line about UN Sustainable Development. And even for doing research at Lingnan, we want to engage our faculty member, our students to work together for impactful research. And our research also have the impact with care for what? Care for social welfare and community, care for cultural and creative arts development. We want our research to have the impact on informing decision in public policy and provoking debates in public policy making and policy analysis. And in management sciences, our research is to promote business innovation. This is very much about impact with care, inspiring impactful research through our colleagues when engaging our students, working together as a learning community, research community for supporting research. And during the very difficult pandemic crisis, I think university leaders should think beyond our own box and look for ways and work together how we can make people feel hope. Leadership is needed when people feel hopeless. I think caring leadership is crucial for lifting people up. And we have to make decisive decisions. Decisive leadership with faith can certainly make use of the crisis and turn the crisis into new development opportunity. I think during the crisis time, my faculty members and students work together. And as leaders in university, I think we need to lead people to focus not on problems and challenges alone, but we have to look into exploring opportunity for development from comparative and spiritual perspectives. And engaging people to work towards the strategic goals during the crisis is important. So I thank my colleagues and my students during the last 2 years, even though we are experiencing or have been experiencing crisis, especially generated by this pandemic. But we find the importance about working in team, and the teamwork all together, work together, hands in hand, can turn the crisis into new opportunities. We certainly find the learning journey with the student, the research journey together with collaboration will bring faith, hope, and love to people who are facing difficult times. So the project talking about SDG-based project, in the difficult time, my university launched the campaign, which is the Fighting COVID-19 Pandemic campaign at Lingnan University. So the campaign has 3 major strands. Number 1 is discovery. Number 2 is service. Number 3 is education. Discovery refers to our colleagues and students working together for doing research related to COVID-19 pandemic. As the world faces a global pandemic, my university has launched this Fight COVID-19 Pandemic campaign during 2020 and now, which comprise of different projects. They are not only research project, but also service project, and also making use of the technology-enabled environment online environment for engaging students and other stakeholders in the community for education. In the difficult time, when social distancing is required to save life, I think caring is more than needed to alleviate hardship. This is what we demonstrate in our discovery work, which is our research and KT work. So one of the research projects related to fighting COVID-19 pandemic was conducted last year. My colleagues conducted research related to how people evaluate about the experience when they had to work from home. So we also work on project like online learning experience of students in university under the COVID-19 pandemic. And then based upon the results and the finding, we certainly can shape our policy in relation to teaching and learning and our intervention in university based upon student evaluation about their online learning experience, which support the SDG quality education. Our work on working from home under COVID-19 research also inform our policy and practices when we try to help and find the best way possible to support our colleagues. They need to work from home, and in what way we can facilitate that to strike about the balance between work in the office and working from home. And my colleagues also conducted research and community projects reaching out to the wider public. For example, we got the funding support from Jockey Club by using and producing ultraviolet to help those people living in the subdivided units downtown to have a very rapid disinfection service in order to create a better hygienic environment for them, especially for those living in a very crowded, highly dense subdivided units. We also work out a lot of technology-related platform, technology-enabled platform and tools for helping our older people to stay at home and they can enjoy the online learning through our intervention through online learning platform. Other research projects for fighting COVID-19, I just highlight here. We conducted research regarding about how older people in Hong Kong they perceive about the impact of COVID-19 on them, and in what way the e-platform in terms of medical care, e-consultation through the e-platform could alleviate about the anxiety of elderly when they are staying at home. They need medical care, so we interview them and doing online survey regarding about the distant and also e-platform for medicine and medical support. And we found the finding very useful, which can inform policy making and practices in offering physical health care for our elder people. We also developed different kit for supporting an anti-COVID-19 stress. Not only within the university also reach out to major industries or stakeholders like the Hong Kong T is a telephone company, also overseeing a lot of 5G and also different form of technology, including general technology for promoting smart aging. And Lingnan University reached out to the industry, working with the school sector, reaching out to the Elder Academy for co-promoting general technology in supporting smart aging, because it is part of the UN SDG for well-being for people, reducing poverty, and also engaging intergenerational communication for promoting general technology in order to help our older people to enjoy smart aging and also they become productive in their age after retirement. And some of the research projects are related to technology, humanity, and society series. We launched different online programs, including seminar, including symposium, and to engage our wider public to know about in what way we can work together in support of the needy during the crisis and also support of the UN SDG. So these are the major campaign. Our campaign, our research and our community were being reported not only by the local media, but also publishing into international journal. And like many people, they are very interested in our research. They also publish in the international media and in some way also international journal, including we publish through the Emerald platform, because it is offering an open access platform for allowing more people to get access to the material that we find from various research projects or community engagement projects that I just outlined above. And during the last 2 years, we also launched CC4U campaign. CC4U stands for Closely Connected for Our Student. You refer to our student, because we truly understand about the anxiety and how stressful students could be during the pandemic period, especially for a lot of international students. They come from afar and studying in Hong Kong. They miss their home and also feeling very alone. So we reach out to the student by organizing this CC4U campaign, and the campaign reaching out to students to enhance the learning experience. Despite the fact that we are constrained by the face-to-face interactions, we make use of different mixed mode model for reaching out to students to enhance their learning. And like, for example, for students, they need to go for labor market after graduation. We engage them through the online job preparation sections. We also engage them for online internship. We also do not lose sight about the importance about international learning experience. Despite the fact that they cannot go beyond their national borders, we make use of the online platform for having the virtual exchange program or different form of learning experience through online. Through this CC4U, basically, we reach out and connect the student to different community, the wider stakeholders, in order to help them preparing for their future job or other learning experience. And the whole idea is we care about student well-being. We also devise different support system in order to make sure students, they learn well, they learn healthily, and their well-being being enhanced. So the well-being, support like connecting students to the international learning community, connecting students to do research with the wider society, connecting students and co-develop a new idea for research, and caring students with their, well-being issues. Like we offer special education needs support. We also offer special counseling for our students. They may encounter mental stress during the pandemic period. And in terms of supporting student and graduate employment, the university also raised a new fund, Graduate Support Fund. And in order to support the graduate facing adverse economic situation in the pandemic time, our university established this fund to reach out to students by offering them job support, or working with major company. We match some, funding generated by our support fund, and to enable company to offer job for our students. They can make use of the funding and matching with their own company's sources of funding to create additional positions to allow students of Lingnan, our graduates, to work with them to create more full-time job. And given the very positive outcome of the fund and the associated anti-adversity program, my university has decided to extend this 2020 graduate support fund to the existing cohort of students. In order to enhance students' well-being, which is also supporting SDG, one of the SDG about health and well-being, we also launched Chinese medicine promotion program. Chinese medicine is not only offering medical service, but also public health education and preventive education. We hope that prevention is better than cure. So through this, medical support and also medical education and public health and community health education, our students have been engaged for knowing more about the health issue, raising their health awareness. And we also provide a health coupon for them to seek the health care and Chinese medicine support from this medical Chinese medicine promotion scheme. And talking about our SDG project-based learning, I think we must look for evidence-based project in order to inform our teaching and learning. So we care about student learning, and then the Graduate School of Lingnan University conducted a survey, online survey, trying to understand how Hong Kong University students' learning experience under COVID-19 pandemic. We conducted the survey in May last year, and we were successfully getting about over 1,200 respondents from universities.
Prof Mark, we can't hear you. Prof Mark, can you hear me? Prof Mark? Yep, hold on. Sharing. Prof Mark, we actually can't hear you. We have lost your audio, Prof Mark. We have lost your audio. Hold on. It seems that you're not connected to audio. Can you go to your audio on your control panel, go to your audio, click no audio, and then click back computer audio. Okay, Prof Mark have gone for a while. I think he'll be back. Sorry for the, okay, Prof Mark is here. Hold on. Prof Mark, we can see you, but I can't see your audio. No, can't hear you. Okay, can you go to audio? Can you go to the control panel, audio, click no audio, and then click back computer audio. Oh, because it says you're not connected to audio, Prof Mark. Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, okay, Prof Mark, you're back. Can
Okay,
you
I don't know
speak?
what happened. Suddenly
Yes.
everything gone. I'm so
Right,
sorry.
okay. That's fine, that's fine. We can hear you well. Now I send you the presenter again. So if you can see the button, and then you can continue.
I'm so sorry for the interruption.
That's fine. Just a little. And then
Okay,
you
I
were,
go on.
yep,
And when we share about the student find the study time decreases, the study
yep.
efficiency also decreases, and the study pressure is becoming higher. So I just want to share with you, these are some of the major findings from our project. And based upon our project, we shape our policy because we care about student learning. And we are lucky enough because Hong Kong is rather resourceful. We can create the learning environment through the online environment. But we just wonder, for those countries or regions, they may have difficulty in having the infrastructure in place. Then reflecting upon the SDG quality education, talking about the UN agenda for education for all, I think we as educators should look into the inclusive education. For those who have countries should reach out to the have lot. Making use of the modern day technology, we can support each other. I think collaborative learning and also collaboration does matter. So I just end my presentation by calling for more collaboration and cooperation, and it would be important because we are now still facing the challenge of pandemic. We pray that everywhere in the world will get away from the current crisis. And I'm so sorry that this interruption about the microphone. And when I try to present the material, suddenly it goes away. Okay, thanks. I hope that I make my point clear to you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Mark. It was, yeah, it was a great sharing, and yeah, it was just a slight glitch over there. So sorry for that. Don't know what happened while you were speaking, but you came back, and yes, so thank you for your sharing. And it's nice to learn about the projects on research and community that you have done on the fighting COVID-19 at Ningnan University. It's interesting to know about the three sector, the discovery, service, and education. And I particularly like the CC for you, the closely connected for you campaign, which is very nice. And because even Emerald is also looking at the well-being of its employees, and so obviously universities are doing that as well. So really nice to know that. And of course, this evidence-based project is really important for teaching and learning. So thank you again, Prof. Mok, for your sharing. And I will, hold on. I'll just share my screen again. Okay, so I will put it as a slideshow. And we have our second presenter today, because now we've got two presentations. And after that, we go on to the question and answer session. So Dr. Ratna have a little bit more time because Prof. Mok have given a few minutes to Dr. Ratna, seems that. So I'll just introduce Dr. Ratna to you all, the audience for today. So Dr. Ratna Lindawati Lubis is one of the core faculty members at Telkom University Indonesia. She comes to the higher education industry with over 8 years of experience in the architectural engineering, mostly with the Japanese construction companies such as Taisei Corporation, Maeda Corporation, and Tobishima Corporation. She has taught entrepreneurship and strategic management course to the master students. She was the head of Center for Business and Entrepreneurship Development. She holds her responsibility as the head of research for entrepreneurship studies to graduate students for 10 years. Dr. Ratna graduated as a Bachelor of Architect Engineer from Bandung Institute of Technology, Indonesia. Then she obtained her master's from Asian Institute of Management, Manila, Philippines. She then obtained her doctoral degree and graduated with cum laude honor from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, majoring in education administration for higher education. Her doctoral research work has focused on the entrepreneurship education in the higher education institutions. She began her global network with the Climate Interactive, an independent, non-for-profit think tank that grew out of MIT Sloan in Cambridge, USA. She served as one of the En-ROAD's climate ambassadors worldwide. As one of the members of SDG Academy Community of Practice, she joins a diverse community dedicated to advancing education for sustainable development through peer learning and the sharing of best practices, customized resource development, and opportunity for research and thought leadership. So, ladies and gentlemen, I now pass the floor to Dr. Ratna. Let me give her the presenter. Okay, so if you can accept, Dr. Ratna. Okay, yes. See yours, but can you make it bigger? Hold on. Yep, yes, okay. We can't hear you yet, Dr. Ratna. Okay.
The art of pandemic. Always on mute.
Okay, over to you.
All right, so we are a screen human being. Anyway, I will try to present my presentation. You can see my screen, okay, Miss G? Okay.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
So I will try to, and give me 5 minutes before finish, yeah, Miss G?
I will.
Okay, yeah? Okay. Okay. Wait, yeah. So this is my presentation. It's about SDG project-based learning, reasons, methodology, challenges, and lesson learned. Same with Professor Mok, yeah. So this is the story of our project before pandemic, yeah, because it was 2019, yeah. So this is a batch of master graduate program in Faculty of Economics and Business. And it was 2009 when we start to make a group who study the SDG as part of the ecopreneurship course in a master graduate program. So we create our WhatsApp group with the future we want for the icon, and then I will tell you the story of this kind of icon. Yeah. So this is only the picture in 2009. It was 2 years ago, yeah, and on October. So the future we want is the document from the United Nations in 2012 from the conference at the Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, same with Rio Plus 20. So that's the term of the future we want that we create for our slogan at that time, yeah. This is designed by one of my friends, Pa Diki Wahyu, yeah. It was a happy moment for us, yeah, when we tried to get the t-shirt. And can you see this one, Miss G? I will play it with the cell phone, so the logo comes up.
Yes, it is. Yes. It is.
That's the application. We want to
Very
build
nice.
the application to build another t-shirt, but then eventually the pandemic came during the March. Yeah. So this is our pictures during the presentation, during the process of the project-based learning. This is our campus. This is the lobby. And now it's so quiet. There's no moving. There's no human. So this is a short of my profile. I'm one of the climate ambassador for the En-ROADS. You can search from the Google, yeah, En-ROADS climate. You can also become a climate ambassadors, yeah. We are still doing it worldwide. Try to find out from the En-ROADS climate ambassador. And this is my profile from the ResearchGate. This is all put my research for the platform. And this one during the pandemic, I put all my work for the YouTube channel. And this one last year we launched the SDG mission 4.7. Yeah, so it's been 1 year now. We launched it during the youth symposium in Vatican City. So this is Indonesia. Yeah, we are here. I got this data. I think it's Monday. Yeah, we have no more COVID case. Yeah, but then in Indonesia, as you can see, 4.2 million confirmed cases. I'm not talking about the COVID. I'm talking about Indonesia. We will be 270 million in 2025. Yeah, and will exceed 285. And 290 and 310 million. I don't know if it's chance or possibility or opportunity, but we are a big family here in Indonesia. And we are the fourth most populous nation, yeah, the largest economy in Southeast Asia, and we have 300 ethnic groups. So we have a lot of dialect, yeah, local dialect. So if you go from Sumatra, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, we have a different ethnic group and dialect. We also one of the 10 member states of the ASEAN, yeah. And I put this news from President Jokowi last, I think it's 26th of October, the 9th ASEAN United States Summit. And everything is in spiritual, yeah, and also the COVID-19 cases. This is on the glance. And we will be host for the G20, yeah, in 2022. So if you go to the G20, you will find a lot of many interesting information about Indonesia because this is the first time we will be the host for G20, yeah, in Bali next year. So this is Indonesia, yeah. We have 5 main islands: Sumatra, Java, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Papua, and Java is the 4th largest island and the site of capital city of Jakarta. We are here in Bandung, yeah, Jawa Barat, yeah, here, yeah. And according to the statistic in Indonesia, we have now a lot of millennials and Gen Z generation, yeah. Accounted for more than 50%. So we need to think about how they become in the next 10 or 20 years. Yeah. So this is the statistic. I just want to show you a picture of Indonesia. This is the last census of the Indonesia in 2020. Yeah. So we are now in 270 million. This is the qualification framework. I will not go through this, but I will show you only for the general information. We have elementary and secondary school for the first level up to 9th level for the specialist 2 for the doctorate. And here, province of Java, West Java, yeah, here we have 388 higher education students. So this one is the whole higher education students in Indonesia, yeah. So this is Telkom University, yeah. We are here in Bandung. Miss G, have you been to Bandung? No? You have to come to Bandung, yeah, here, yeah. We are plus 709 from sea level, so it's quite sejuk, yeah, here in Bandung City, and 2.5 million here in Bandung. So we also have a problem with the population, yeah. So this is Telkom University. We have 7 faculties, yeah. You can find our profile in the YouTube, yeah, here, yeah. I shared it with the my presentation. This one is the location of our campus. this one is the latest graduation days in last April. As you can see, last April we have 1,400 graduates, and we have 7 faculties, 37 study program, and over 58 million graduate. Yeah. So this is the strategic plan of University, Telkom University. In 2023, I think 2 years from now, yeah, we have a vision, a dream to be a research and entrepreneurial university. So this is the 7th faculty. And this one, Faculty of Economics and Business, is one of the oldest in Telkom University. Yeah? And electronic engineering is also the oldest in Telkom University. It was built in 1990. Yeah? Same with a graduate student. So I've been here since December 2000. So it's been 21 years now. Yeah. So this is the future we want. I would like to share with you my experience, how to teach the entrepreneurship subjects in 2004 until 2021. I'm now planning to make a chapter book for topic on the sustainable entrepreneurship. And the future we want, the one that I will tell you, this project-based learning is between 2019 and 2020. This one is walkabout, is something like I've learned from Manila, yeah, in 2000, how my graduate program in Manila used the philosophy of the Aborigine. The Aborigine call it walkabout, how the teenager becomes an adult and then send it to the desert, and then if he come back, then he will become an adult. That's how I put the philosophy of entrepreneurship subject to the graduate students in 2004. So this is 2021. Yeah, I sent my wording to the SDSN for the case study, and then Telkom University was chosen among the 200 case study as a showcase for the report in the 2021. You can find it from the website. So the project-based learning actually based on my dissertation. Yeah? So this is the model of entrepreneurship education that I put as my idea. I call it the triple I learning model for entrepreneurship education. The triple I means inspiration for innovative Indonesia. And at the heart of this model, I adapted from the 4 pillars of education from the UNESCO. I will not talking about this one, but you can find it from my journal, the triple I learning model of entrepreneurship education in Indonesia. Where do we go from here? It was published in 2015. Yeah. So reason for making an SDG project-based learning, because in 2012-15, yeah, UNESCO make a publication of rethinking education, yeah, with 4 pillars: learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together. The fourth, the last one, is very important for us: how to be part of the community, how to learn to live together, especially during this pandemic. And this one, the report from the Sustainable Development, as you can see, it's all in red, yellow, and orange. This is something like traffic light, yeah. So this one, Indonesia is 97 among 165. As you can see, the traffic light, the red means trouble, the green means on track, and the yellow means somewhere in between. So we are in the yellow and the red. So the question for me as educator, yeah, how do we make a significant action? How to prioritize? Which one is prioritized? And who am I in this situation? For me, I choose SDG 4 and SDG 8, yeah, decent work and economic growth, because our graduate should have a decent work after graduation. So this is the project-based learning, the one that I told you. I will not go in detail, but this is the concept of the TELU. I call it TELU Eco Heroes. And I asked the students to make a logo for themselves, and they come up with the three: koala, maung, and kumbang. Maung in Sundanese word is harimau, yeah. Harimau, you can see, I love harimau. And kumbang is something like, I don't know how to say it in English. So this is how it works, yeah. Session 1 to session 6, and we put the future we want as the spirit for our projects. This is the methodology of the project-based learning. And we went to Kebon Belajar in September. We went to Urban Hub for Change. We went to Wetland Park Cisurupan. That's how we work as a student, as a lecturer, to go to close the gap between the knowing and the doing. That's how it works. So the students see how the nature connect to themselves. That's how it works, the methodology. But we still in the box, you know. So this is my student in 2020, yeah? Yeah, we are studying during this pandemic. So the question is, what does it mean to us? Yeah, is it an invitation? Is it a challenge? Is it an opportunity? And meanwhile, this one, our ministry sent the report for the SDG during the pandemic. So all of this data we can get it from the newspaper. So the challenge for this project-based learning is how to connect between the theory, the research, and the practice. And then I pose the question to my students. First, how do you build your tomorrow? Second, what is going to be new in your life? Because you need to find something new in your life. As the newness will become a motivation for you for every day in your life. So find a new things in your life. 3, how do we experience knowledge during this pandemic? All right. So it's still going on, this pandemic, yeah. So another question for us, yeah. Visualizing a post-COVID-19 world. What are we going to do with all this dispute? Because this is a heavy period. How do we react? And how to make a step forward? And this is the one I get from the newspaper local, yeah? This is an Indonesian language, but it's all about mental health, yeah? So I put here a mathematical equation, D equal S minus M. I got this from the book of Viktor Frankl. This book is one of the book that I must read when I was student in 2000. So it was 21 years ago. But then the essence of the book, the message from the Viktor Frankl is now become more and more relevant. So I would like you to write down in your notes now, D equals S minus M. D is for despair, equal suffering minus meaning. So if you don't have meaning in your life, you will become suffering. That's how Viktor Frankl. So the well-being and the mental health it's the topic of discussion. Same with Professor Mok, yeah. And I sent my message to to the Telkom University rector, because during the Times Higher Education, this is also the topic of the discussion, yeah. And also from this professor from University of Edinburgh, he talked about the technology is only the tools. The most important thing is the human being, the relationship, the engagement, yeah. So according to our rector, he said Telkom University have a wellness center, and we will maximizing this facility. And this one is one of the application that I got from the Times Higher Education conference, yeah, a few months ago. So this is the book of Viktor Frankl, yeah. You can get it from the internet, yeah. Man's Search for Meaning. You can find the essence of the book, yeah. So for me, during this pandemic, this is more and more relevant. This is a quote from him. It does not really matter what we expect from life, but rather what life expects from us, yeah. So choose how do you feel your own life. So this is one of the example that I use to my student. Yeah, you can also get it from internet. So a lot of platform, a new platform during this pandemic. Yeah, just start on whatever scale you can start on with whatever in front of you. Okay. When you start it, and then you can imagine. Do you see a beautiful world in your vision? This is very easy. Put and stop, move, and what else? Many things and fun. Yeah, you have to make fun for yourself during this pandemic. So I called SDG is the color of healing. This is the presentation of my students. Last semester, they choose each of the SDG. So we discussed from the SDG 1 to SDG 17. And this is for this semester. I asked my students to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Yeah, it's something like playing the Lego. Yeah, you learn how to build the Lego and you put it piece by piece. Yeah, broken it down and then put it another beautiful shape of your Lego. Learn, unlearn, relearn is from Alvin Toffler. Yeah, it was an old book. It's also one of the must reading book when I was in master in management. Yeah, Future Shocks. You can find it from internet if you want. So I have how to say it, PBL, yeah, project-based learning during this pandemic. For me, life is like a keyboard, right? If you don't have a keyboard, how can you communicate with your student? How can you communicate with your friends? So life is like a keyboard during this pandemic. Press P for progress. Press B for believe in yourself. Press L for love for yourself and your others. Not for pain, not for broken, and not for lost. So P for progress, project-based learning. B, believe in yourself. And L for love. So I make a story, fun story to my student, yeah? You have to think, you have to express yourself, and you have to create something. You can choose which goal matters to you most. By doing this, we are helping the world move ahead towards a more sustainable future for all. So let's do our bit with the creative and fun ways like these animals, you know? They are smiling. And this one, I think this is also important. Yeah, I got this from the World Economic Forum, the Future Jobs Report 2020. Number one, the creativity, the originality, the initiative is number one in high demand and emerging skill. And number 15, instruction, mentoring, teaching is the last one. So it's like, how to say it? It's like spectrum, yeah, 1 to 15. So you choose number one in order for you to step up after the pandemic. So let's hold our hope in our hands, right? If you have pen, right, pen, so put the smile in your fingers and then you can put it in your social media. That's it from me. Terima kasih. Thank you. I hope it gives you a new energy for the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ratna, for the very interesting sharing. So on accelerating education for the SDGs in universities, and also on your module, the Triple I Inspiration for Innovative Indonesia. And the questions that you ask, do we need significant action? So obviously, as indicator for Indonesia, how do you prioritize? And I particularly like the, the koala, the maung, the tiger, and also the kumbang. So very cute use of the animals. And also you like to play with acronyms, D equals S minus M. So despair, suffering, minute, and SDG is the color of healing. So very, very interesting. And thank you very much, Dr. Ratna. We actually have a few questions. Okay, so I shall move on to the question and answer before I pass the session to my colleague Irwan. So the first one that we received from the participants, maybe this one is for you, Dr. Ratna. Some Indonesians can't afford internet access, or they live in places that have limited or no access to the internet. But during pandemic, most classes are held online. How do you ensure the quality of the education, especially for laboratory classes?
How do we, sorry?
How do you ensure the quality of education? So that means, when students can't access the internet because they don't have access to the internet when they are, back at home. So how do we ensure the quality of education that can, still be channeled to them, although they are not using the internet?
This is a very hard question, yeah, because the
Yes.
internet is something like oxygen to your breath, right? So if you don't have the oxygen, you cannot breathe. So that's how we communicate during this pandemic. So if there is no internet, there is no communication, there is no oxygen, then you cannot breathe. So the first thing first is we have to build the internet access for the whole, I don't know, Indonesia, the world. That's how during the conference for Times Higher Education last month I attend from the Dubai. They now trying to put fund for connection to the especially for the young, yeah, for the children, yeah. So if you say there is no that internet, then there is no life.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ratna. Maybe this one is for Prof. Mark. How to conduct project-based learning with synchronous learning, and how we observe our student activities project, like you have done, Prof. Mark, on the COVID-19 in Lingnan University. How do you actually conduct this to ensure that everybody else is this project is well communicated within the university?
Well, I think Hong Kong is quite fortunate in terms of the infection cases. So even though we faced a very difficult time last year, and on campuses, we so far are very safe. So first of all, we make a policy based upon the student learning experience, as I presented to you. It's very much evidence-based research findings, which have informed our policy of teaching and learning. And based upon the student responses, the majority of students, they told us, not only about from Lingnan, but universities in Hong Kong in general, among these 1,200 respondents, they told us that they were not happy entirely with the online learning environment, despite the fact that Dr. Retta mentioned about this is the oxygen to make sure the infrastructure is in place. But having said that, even the infrastructure is in place, we are unable to use the online platform as a means of interaction with students. The students told us 60% of them, they found purely online learning is not satisfying them. So with that, we have tried our very best to create a safe and hygienic environment, but at the same time allowing students to have choice. So during the difficult time, we make a policy that students could choose to come back on campus to enjoy the face-to-face class by following a very stringent public hygiene measures, number one. And at the same time, if they don't feel comfortable at all, they can choose stay in the dormitory or the place that they feel safe and comfortable, and they get online for learning. So it's truly a challenge for both professors and students, because like me, I have to handle students on site in front of me, and at the same time, because we broadcast our live seminar through the online, is a hybrid mode. So first of all, I agree with Dr. Renner about the infrastructure is important. The university have invested sufficiently to create the environment which is productive enough for supporting both online and on-site a mixed mode delivery. So I have to make use of the camera, Zoom system, and also all form of technology to enable our students, they could have a conversation live when I was giving my seminar or conducting the project with our students, allowing the face-to-face student to talk to those students there online. And thanks to modern technology, even using Zoom as a primary platform for us to engage students online, I think that Zoom has a kind of function about chat room, or divided them into different platforms, and also they are having breakout room for discussions. And after discussing, those students can also mingle through the online system with our on-site student. But the good thing is, when online students found our on-site student become so enthusiastic during the face-to-face real personal touch on campus, more and more students with Hong Kong's condition is not too bad in terms of infection cases. Actually, we did not have infection cases in the last couple of months already, local cases. So that's why it gives the confidence for students to come back. But still, up to now, we still allow students to have a choice. Preferably, if they feel comfortable and healthy enough, they come back on campus. It is much more, juicy, if you like, about the learning experience. And just yesterday, when I talked to the students, a question whether they want to go back to only online learning experience, most of them say no. They prefer some kind of face-to-face interaction. They also think that blended learning is good, but only going for online platform has a lot of limitations. We have to acknowledge that, because it's based upon an evidence-based research project that I just presented to you. And with that, I think it has challenges. I must be very candid. At the beginning, I was so nervous about managing about both on-site and also online classes. The challenge is about the technology, how to motivate the two groups to talk to each other. But once I'm more familiar and the students are very familiar about the technology, we are fine. But I have learned from students too, because they are young kids. They pick up the technology better than me. So I engage them when I see any technical problem. I invite them to come to my my podium for help, or else I invite them to come to my podium for sharing with the online students, even though they have to move around in the classroom. Going back to your question, I think it is doable in terms of engaging students for project, class discussion, and find the interaction is acceptable. Of course, face-to-face is much preferred, but we have to live with the constraint. We be very pragmatic. So this is my take. And I gone through difficult time. I must confess, I'm not a technical person, but I learned a lot
We are
during the last 12 and 15 months about how to make use of technology in supporting student learning and also my teaching. Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to add, Dr. Ratna?
What's the question? I'm sorry, about the engagement.
Is this how to conduct project-based learning, and how do we observe our students' activities project? So.
Oh, okay. So I ask my students to identify the problem in their local area. All right. So they will try to go outside, right, within their local area based on SDG, right? So all of this problem they need to identify, and then every week we will discuss from one group to another group. That's how it works now. So they are the one who do the project. They are the one who do the project. I'm the one only for the monitoring by screen. But then at the end of the project, they need to create the story. That's how it works. We are human. We love to hear the story. So this is all the story. They put the story and put it in the YouTube, making a wording, a story, something that we can learn from each other. So the goal of the project-based learning during the pandemic is to create a story and put it into the platform of SDG. There's a lot of platform of SDG now since the pandemic. It comes from the UN. That's how it works, Miss G.
Yeah. So it comes to the next question, like for Indonesia to promote the SDG internationally for the next 5 years, will education expectation be realized? Do you think?
Will
So that means
education
expectation be realized? So can Indonesia go towards that SDG goal in the next 5 years, do you think?
Of course, we now have the SDG Academy. You can learn online for free. You can learn what is the SDG mean. Can I just show you my screen,
Yeah, sure.
Miss G?
Yes, okay, hold on. Let me give you the...
How to share the screen?
Hold on. Okay, let me see. I take my screen and then I change presenter back to you. Okay, you should receive a command now.
Show my screen, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is, I collect all the platform from the internet, right? I start from the UN SDSN. Yeah, this is all the platform. Yes, this is SDG Academy. You can find it from internet. It's for free, right? It's the one that I will answer the question for the 5 years from now. Yeah, you can learn by yourself. Yeah, this is also from SDSN. And this is community of practice, the one that I'm now involved, yeah, in SDG. And this is also the Global Classroom 2021. It's all for free. This one also, Global Classroom Program. And this one also from the internet. You can find a lot of report. This is the global from the UNICEF, the world's largest lesson. This is mission 4.7. And this is the newest, yeah, the project that matters.org. Yeah, this one, the whole link, yeah, connecting people to the real world project. So we can share our story. Yeah, this is also SDG Accord, help desk, so many, UNCC Learn, UNICEF, and this is SDG from Academy Indonesia. You can find it from internet. You can start from SDG 101 just to know what is the meaning of SDG. All right, this is also the platform that we use during the discussion. This is also the International Association of University. Yeah, a lot of platform. You can find it from internet. Also,
Yeah,
SDG
so
men,
many.
global makers, and this is SDG action. You can post your own action. So that's how I ask my student. You post your action to the SDG map. That's how it works, Miss G.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Rana. Yeah, that's a very good sharing with all the links there. Perhaps this is a question for Prof. Mok. How can the SDG be injected into existing courses? And how can we apply SDG to our everyday life, especially to the people who are willing to be part of the impact? So firstly, how can you as the academician inject the SDG into the existing course? Do you do that?
Yeah, I think we have done that because, as I mentioned in my presentation, my university is a big supporter about UN SDG, and the UN SDG is a kind of overarching framework guiding our research, teaching and learning, and also wider engagement. So start from day one when students were admitted to the university, we support about our SDG number 4, quality education, which place stress on inclusive education. We care about those students from underrepresented groups and also those students coming from less fortunate socioeconomic backgrounds. And we are also giving opportunity, financial support and scholarship for admitting those students, regardless about their backgrounds, especially for underrepresented group. We offer help to reach out to them, to make them feel comfortable as being admitted to university. This is for admission. For curriculum and pedagogy, we cannot impose our faculty member to adopt any SDG, but certainly because this is a university vision in support of SDGs, and colleagues, one way or the other, could infuse the concept of SDG in their learning, because we are excellent in humanity, social sciences, and management sciences. We see a lot of rooms that colleagues can work with our students, co-producing the learning experience. I'm using co-producing learning experience because we are not only talking about teaching by teachers, but it's also about co-production of knowledge and collaborative in learning. So we adopt more, problem-based learning, evidence-based, approach in teaching and learning. So say, for example, in my class, we introduce students to different SDG, like some of the topic. Yesterday I talked about, global health issue, and one of the issues is about promoting well-being and health by looking into comparative health systems to show how different countries or regions has worked on the percentage of GDP being spent on health expenditure. So they can go on site, go online about the data and analytics through WHO, and also all this research are well related to the support of health and well-being, and one of the SDG that we allow discussing. And there's a more room because my university care about whole person development, and it's a graduation requirement for all undergraduate students that they have to complete one course is service learning. So this is the service learning course provide a very good platform for faculty member to engage students to not only learn from the classroom, but also integrate what they've learned to do service in the local community. It's very much just like Dr. Rena's one is a local community work through the service learning experience. And there are different courses though. Individual faculty member can work with our students based upon the course content to work out what sort of service learning components which can support different forms of SDG. But SDG should not be only single for any course, because some of the course can cross over different SDG, but very much depends on the course contents and also the learning objective and learning outcomes. So I'll just give you some concrete example in terms of teaching and learning and also pedagogy. One of the initiatives is Linglan Entrepreneurship Initiative. We want to engage our students to become more entrepreneurial. We don't see entrepreneurship only confined to business alone. We very much take it, entrepreneurship is a kind of lifestyle, is a kind of life attitude. Everyone should be entrepreneurial. Everyone should be taking risk, but calculated risk, and move beyond risk. Especially, we are facing uncertain futures. We very much hope that through the entrepreneurial initiative, by organizing students to engage them into startup, design thinking, engaging them in creativity related work, and that sort of entrepreneurial activity would also support a lot of SDG. For example, our student and faculty member engaged in humanitarian technology. Lingnan does not have a technology school, but we work with other company and industry and professor. Right. They have mature technology, but how to make use of mature technology and talking to humanity and marrying technology and humanity in support of human needs. I say you one example. During the very difficult time, some people, they are blind or they have the deaf problem. They need to have a mask which is transparent. So we work with the NGO in support of deaf people by designing a mask, transparent mask with a filter that they can see the facial expression and also the mouth during the conversation. And tailor-made for those people who have the deaf problem. This NGO work with our students and making the design, and now this particular mask got an international award and now is in production. And the product themselves is definitely supporting SDG and helping those underprivileged or people they are facing health issue. Another example is elder people. And many of the older people, they are little bit younger than the very old people, but as a caregiver. But they have to push about the wheelchair, but they can be very heavy because 65 years old person sitting on the wheelchair, but another caregiver could be 60 years old. So it could require a lot of energy for doing so. So my colleagues working with the student, talking to the carers and also the elder people, their needs, based upon their felt needs, they talk to company by adopting some mature technology to introduce a remote controller put on the handle of the wheelchair. And this particular machine can very easily to handle and control the wheelchair from slipping, especially if that go down the slope. It could be very dangerous if the carer is not strong enough to hold the wheelchair. But with this material, we are talking about humanitarian technology, and our students and also our faculty member talking to the older people and carer by co-producing the kind of technology, which is mature, but it's a combination and adaptation to wheelchair. And again, I'm glad that this sort of invention is also getting an international award and recognizing the achievement of my student and faculty member. And again, learning by doing also support the idea about SDG. So we do not precisely adopt which SDG, but we design this sort of learning experience for students and coaching them to do whatever learning experience which is supporting about the SDG we talk about. So I hope that these two examples could give you the idea about what we have been doing. And it's not only a policy paper. I think it's very much a kind of motivation and also the internalizing about the idea into our mission for learning, and our students benefit a lot. And also need for student learning by reaching out to the society and benefiting the wider society. Because after all, we ask ourselves as a university, we care about student learning, and our students are well taken care by the university. They are trained and nurtured to become global leader, but they have caring minds.
Yeah, very, very good, because this is how we talk about impact, how your research, your learning in the classroom have had impact to the society directly, really well done. Thank you, Prof. And there is also a question on what is the recommended duration of a PBL, project-based learning. So how to conduct an impactful SDG related project in just one semester or 4 months? Is it okay? Is it too short, or do they need a longer period of time for this
project-based learning?
Again, it depends
on the course objective and learning outcomes. And some of the course could last for a year. It's not only one course, but it's a linked course or a cluster of courses, especially for those students, they are highly motivated. They want to continue to engage themselves and with their peers for doing something more important. So it's not only one course, it's a kind of a bundle of courses together to shape our students becoming ambassador of SDG, or they do not shy away from making use of the SDG as a concept, but how to make the concept into their learning experience and also reaching out to the wider community.
Yeah.
So I don't have a clear answer because it very much depends on, number one, student choices.
Yeah.
Second is about the faculty member. We cannot just impose on our faculty member. And our faculty member can choose whatever teaching intervention or pedagogy they like, but definitely the university encourage them to adhere the teaching activity, learning experience in support of SDG.
Right. There's another question. What would you say is the biggest impact of COVID-19 on achieving the goal of sustainable development project-based learning? So because we talk a lot about, obviously a lot of students have got to go onto the e-learning environment. So need a change of behavior? Do they need a change of behavior? So how do we collaborate together with the infrastructure? So mind sharing what you have done so far to overcome them? So that means like, how do this e-learning environment have changed the behavior of both the students and also the academicians?
Well, before the crisis, I don't know the experience in Indonesia. In Hong Kong, before the crisis happened, students did not take face-to-face class or attendance very seriously because they took it for granted having learning experience. Right. But now the student found having learning on campus a treasure. This is very different experience. Yesterday, I talked to them whether we have to go back to only the online experience. Many students say no. They prefer a bundle of learning experience, not only about face-to-face, but also about online. But many of them told me they prefer face-to-face because face-to-face form a very important part. It's about human interaction. But having said that, I think this is a very good learning experience. As an educator, we keep on reminding our students to conduct comparative work and to reflect their learning experience from comparative dimension. They can reach out to their friends or peer through the snowball sampling method, reaching out to people in other corners of the world to interview them about their learning experience. When they found that digital divide is really an issue when we are talking about digitization of education. In Hong Kong, as I mentioned, we are so fortunate because the government has given a lot of resources in support about university, having the resources in building the infrastructure, making sure the system is in place for engaging students, make small full online and hybrid or blended learning experience. But my students reaching out to different corners of the world or even doing desktop research, looking into the African countries or developing world, how their learning experience being reported and reflected by them, then they certainly think that there's a widening gap between the have and have not. It's better than me saying about how important it's about SDG. And I just ask students to reach out, not only doing the desktop research, but also reaching out to the different corners. Because this day, the online platform, the media, social media can enable people to talk. And then this is very fruitful experience. They share, they become more sharing, more collaborative, and also co-promoting about education for all. And my student told me they found that they are so fortunate. They are so fortunate to have Hong Kong as a base, feeling very, very safe. And at the same time, they also found that having face-to-face interaction with their peers a much preferred, learning experience. But before the crisis, asking them, especially early morning class, 8:30 class, oh my, it's a challenge, am I right? Too early. But now, This is a very different experience. But I would say that I don't want to overstay about the success story, but also we've gone through the difficult time though.
Yeah, a
Because
lot of
online
challenges.
learning is not that easy for adaptation. But technology is one thing, but when we're talking about supporting UN SDG quality education, we must use of technology. But don't just think technology is everything, because we have to be sensitive about technology should marry with humanities. When we are knowing about what people need, then we can adopt technology appropriately for supporting better learning experience. So this is my humble observation. Thank you.
Thanks, Prof. Mark. Dr. Ratna, what do you think about the behavior of students, like Prof. Mark said, before and after the pandemic?
Okay, my experience is using a lot of platform to communicate. So it's not only the Zoom, we use the WhatsApp group, and this is the real time, right? So they need to embrace themselves. And one of the things that I always ask to my students, love yourself. For learning, it's for you, not for me. All right? And trying to discover a new things every day. And then I will give them some of the platform, they can use it, and they can come up with the how to say it. They go to the webinar and connecting to other people, just like Professor Mok said, from all over the world. But I ask my students, be very careful about the time difference, because sometimes here in Indonesia, we are in 9 p.m. and in the US it's 8 a.m., right? But then I always say to my students, let's continue the process of discoveries, right? So you need to embrace yourself. And how can I measure the impact? I ask them at the end of the semester to make a reflection paper by handwriting. By handwriting, yeah. I give the guide question about the course, and the last question is what the future is going to be like for you, because you are the one who control your own life. So it's something like telling yourself, who am I anyway at the 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I think it's how it works.
Yep, thank you. There are so many questions that came in actually, obviously. And this one, I think, just for information, and maybe both of you professors can also add on to it. So one of the question is, what is the real difference between MDGs and SDGs? So obviously, MDG is the Millennial Development Goals, which are 8 goals, and it's only targets the developing countries. And SDG is Sustainable Development Goals, which have 17 goals in total, and it covers the rich nation, medium, and also the poor nation. So everybody in this whole wide world, so to speak. So I am correct, right? Okay. Yeah, thank you. And so the SDG is also a nationally owned and country-led. So each of the countries would, look into this SDG based on their country level. And one of the questions is, what program can an academic library do to have an impact on SDG? So this one surely it comes from a librarian. So what do you think? Is there any program that you think that can be injected into the library program to push this SDGs? Maybe Dr. Ratna, you want to say anything on that?
Okay, can I just share my screen?
Uh-huh.
Miss G?
Yep. Hold on. I changed to you. There you
Can
go.
you see
Not yet.
show my, is it?
Yes, share your screen. Yes, we can.
Okay. So this is the one that I get from the life during the pandemic. So this is all that can use by the librarian. You can get
Mhm.
the video, all the resources here. Yeah, here courses also, anything you can get from, it's for free. So as for me, if I am a librarian, I will give the links to the open library, something like in Telkom University, or
Mhm.
I can give the pop-up message to the students, because this is all for free. You can get the video, the news, the webinar, everything is free.
Okay. SDG
Okay.
Academy.org. Yes. Yep. Thank you, Dr. Ratna. So, Prof. Mok, so obviously you are the advisor for the Emerald Education for All goals, yeah. So obviously there are a lot of opportunities in education SDG. So can you also share what are the challenges in the education SDGs? In general, it can be in general.
I think the major challenge is we are living in a world of a divided world, and this unprecedented global health crisis has certainly humbled world leaders. In my opinion, should be a humbling experience that humanity could be very vulnerable, no matter
Yeah.
how rich you are as a country or a region. And this infectious disease can go everywhere without border. So the whole learning lesson for me is a humbling experience, and in what way we should work together more closely by having more shared vision and engage in deep collaboration in supporting each other beyond border. And with modern day technology, I'm sure if leaders, world leaders have a political view, things could happen. But I'm so sad in the last 15 months or 2 years, we have witnessed a lot of new geopolitics happening. And the richer, they may not be caring much about those countries they are less fortunate. It's not only about their health support, but also if you're talking about SDG, quality education, the Agenda 2030, education for all, then I think we should not leave anyone behind. This is the challenge. And resources are always available, but resources have not been equally shared and distributed. And in what way some world organization, international organization can come together and pull all the world leaders together, particularly those are very influential ones, to make commitment together for supporting each other. And you look into the most of the developing world, like higher education, many of them are privately run. And this pandemic has stopped a lot of resources from the private sector. I don't blame them, but the reality is the global financial situations are becoming less stable. And the economic downturn globally also would have affected people's motivation for investing in education. So I keep on telling my students, we are so lucky in Hong Kong because the government has a strong commitment in supporting education. The government does not shy away from investing, even though the government did in a deficit budget, but still invest in education. But looking around the world, many places, they closed their position or culture of schools a lot of drop out students simply because of lack of resources. So I think the challenge would be how we can work together, engaging in collaboration, a deep collaboration. It's not talking about international aid, having the have lot, but actually it's not out of because you are so sympathetic about what happens elsewhere. Because this pandemic certainly asks us to, as a humanity, we must be collectively connected together.
Yeah.
But the challenge is, I'm so sorry, I don't see it has happened in the last 2 years. And I see a lot of, new geopolitics happening, which creates a very unfavorable environment because of the world countries or global countries rivalry, if you like. Has really create a very difficult environment for collaboration. If you're talking about education for all, I hope that world leader can shy away from making education too politicized.
Yeah.
Because education is so fundamental for future development of young people and give them hope. Education is very important. But I'm so sorry if you're talking about the challenge, I would say about the kind of revival of Cold War and the ideology fights and also the geopolitics has also created a very damaging environment for having people working together. This is my humble 2 cents.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with you because it goes to the next, maybe I will just cover another 2 questions before we close the session with a presentation for Irwan. So this one, it goes back, Dr. Mok, because one of the questions is SDGs are commonly designed by top management. On the other side, the team responsible to implement the SDG are not feeling very comfortable. So, and it results from the SDG not remain fruitful to some of the countries. So how do we, obviously we don't have any resolution, but do you have any thoughts on that, on how to resolve this kind of problem?
Well, I think the SDG are global goals to go. But I certainly agree with you, as you asked me before, how my university has really implemented SDG in our teaching and learning. I think we cannot impose, I keep on talking about, we cannot impose on our faculty and students. And the fundamental success of Hong Kong university system is about, number 1, academic freedom. Second is about institutional autonomy. Even though as a manager of university, I'm very keen, but I have to have my colleagues buy in, especially those, in the front line. So I think working together and also talking more about the benefit. And if we are serious teachers or educator, once we see about student learning, they really benefit from having the SDG injected into our learning experience, and students find it a fruitful experience, especially many students going through the experience, they find it easier for getting job after graduation. Because the major big company, they also talk about SDG. They're talking about ESG this day. And I think they are not contradicting to each other. So with real learning experience to creating whole person development, supporting about the 21st century, learning skill that, Dr. Redler just mentioned into the economic forum, I think the student benefit from that. And then the staff will feel, oh, this is good to do that. But I think it requires a cultural change. I don't mean that it is easy, but we cannot just ask people to do without doing by ourselves. So as a manager in the university, in my research, in my teaching, I really test out the idea and finding the good responses from students. Then I can showcase to my colleague and encouraging that working together. But again, I'm very humble because this is truly a humbling experience. I also learn from my peers and also my colleagues. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what are your thoughts, Dr. Ratna, on the top management doing the designing of the SDG? So what do they want and everything, but the team responsible to implement it are not feeling the, feeling the fruitful of the results of that. So what do you think?
Okay, Ms. G, I have one of the drawing. Yeah. I don't know if I'm not sure if you can see my drawing here.
We can see like triangles up and down. Yeah.
Okay. Triangle up and down, right?
Yeah.
So the triangle up and down is like from top to bottom, and from bottom to up, right?
Yep.
So there is a connecting point here between
In the
teaching
middle.
and learning, right?
Yep. Yep.
So this is from the top management and this is from the students, and we are as a facilitator. So we need to come up with the connection. It's like a triangle. It's like a, have you seen the sand, how to say it, G? Sand
It's like a filter, you know, filter, and then it goes
sand
back. Yeah.
A sand clock, is it?
Oh,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
Sand
Okay,
clock?
yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
Yes. That's how I can imagine how to implement the SDG. We need to come up with the center, how to meet each other. That's how it works. And then
Yes.
how to make it work. Then we have to communicate to each other, to tell the stories, to discuss. That's how it works. The communication is the key to the problem. So we need to discuss and then find the middle point. I think that's for me, G.
Yeah, that's the way, like two-way communication, right? Yeah, it has to be an ongoing two-way communication. Yeah. So yes, I think it's 4:15. We've just got another like 14 minutes before we end the session, and thank you so much to both of you, Prof. Mok and Dr. Ratna, for your sharing today. And I believe that the participants have gained a lot. Yeah, yes, Dr. Ratna, yes.
I forgot. There's a term for this drawing, all right?
Okay.
Leadership at the top and leadership at the bottom.
Ah, so leadership both top and bottom.
Yes, that's how it works.
Right. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, thank you so much again, Dr. Ratna and Prof. Mok. So I'll hold on. I just go back to the presentation, whereby we just will spend just another few minutes from a presentation from Irwan. So I now will pass the session to Irwan before we close the session. Over to you, Irwan.
Thank you, G, for your time. Please introduce Okay, good afternoon, good morning, or good evening for everybody in around the world. Please introduce myself. My name is Irwan. I'm the business manager from the Emerald from Indonesia. Now I will be introduction about our ebook collection for Emeralds. Little bit about Emerald. Emerald is the independent and award-winning publisher of academic research. You can see we are just winning the independent publisher of the year in the 2020. Our ebook program, including 2,600 title content covering that resonates with the real world. Yeah, and we are the Emerald Publishing are just signing maybe a few months ago about the funding security of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal UNDP SDG Publisher Compact, which is designed to inspire action among the publisher, accelerate progress to achieve Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Next, year. Okay, now we have the package for the 25 title books for the UNDP Sustainable Development Goals. You can download the all title in the handout. Yeah, you can download in the handout. All the title is including about all 17 SDG goal books. Yeah, all the 17 goals. Yeah, because we have created that, and one handbook about the Emerald Handbook of Crime, Justice, and Sustainable Development, and another 7 title. And for the all information, you can contact me. is my email, isukardi@emerald.com, or for the other countries, asia@emerald.com. Next, G. Now we were talking about 7 goals, United Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah, Emerald created this, yeah, around 2018. Yeah, 2018 until 2021. Now it's already completed 17 goals books. Yeah, or already published, or already can be sold to the all customer. Yeah. Now, all 17 is about the short books, yeah, examining about the all point of the UNDP Sustainable Development Goals, yeah, like you can see SDG number 1 is no poverty, SDG 16 about peace and justice. Yeah, books is in the series critical analysis that assess SDG from the multiple disciplinary and the multiple regional standpoint. It's very good. I hope it will be useful for your institution, and I hope it will be good for use for all the members of the like student or the lecturer to use these books, because it's very useful, and all any information about how to purchase, how to access, and how to contact me, and for the other countries, contact the others emails. Okay, thank you very much. I now come back to G again.
Okay, so thank you so much again, everybody. So we are just 9 minutes ahead of time. So again, thank you very much, Prof. Mok and Dr. Ratna, for your valuable time, for sharing a lot of examples on the project-based learning that you have done in your university, and all of the things that you will be doing later on to support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So if there is any questions at all for the speakers or for us, participants, you all can, you will be receiving a post webinar email from us together with an email in there. So if you do have any questions, you can just contact us later. So again, thank you everyone. And thank you, Prof. Mok and Dr. Ratna. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
for having me.
Yes, Dr. Ratna.
I want you to put smile in your fingers like me.
Okay.
For 5 fingers, then we can take a picture.
Okay, I'm doing it now.
Maybe the participant will follow us, okay? See?
So I put in 2 of my fingers. There.
I put more in my fingers. You can see my fingers?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yep. Yes. Thank you for a very nice session today, Dr. Ratna. Very enlightening. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Take a picture.
Yep, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bu Ratna.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Bagrista.
you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, participants. See you all again. Bye.